ask you, did you do you feel like you actually had like a dysphoria, or do you think it was something else?
No, I don't think I had a dysphoria.
So what I was curious what actually like caused you to go down that path. Do you feel like, because you say you don't feel like it was something that you kind of, because I say it like this. I was on the podcast
The men.
with those with the men,
Mm.
and they were saying like, no, nothing happened to me. I was just,
Mm.
this is just the way God made me. So that was like, that's interesting, because almost every single time I ask somebody, they even make this a bold statement like, hey,
God
you
made me
have to
this way.
understand, like, well, you have to understand because of what they've been through. So that's a big bold statement. So I'm like, okay, so you're saying that this is not how you were made because you've been through something.
Right. I was not
But
made.
this was different. I say, I ain't never really heard somebody say, no, nothing happened to me. My dad was in my life. This is just, what happened. I was like, that's very hard to believe, but I can't like assume. So I was like, I'm gonna take your word
Well,
for it.
yeah, they probably lying. Maybe I don't know, but for me, I just remember just at a young age. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can remember, and so maybe them doing that did make me be attracted to women as well.
Mm-hmm.
I just know like my friend that I was talking about um had a similar story. You know what I'm saying? So it's just like I have talked to quite a few people. Like, and it could just be on my walk. You know what I'm saying? It could just been the people I was meeting. Like, God probably had me meeting those same people for a certain reason. But, like, nobody has ever said, oh, I just came out the womb this way.
Mm.
Like, so I don't know. Some people, I don't
So
know.
you
I
saying
can't, I
from
can't
your
speak.
perspective,
I can't speak
it's kind
for,
of hard to believe, but it's
yeah,
possible.
but it's possible. It's kind of hard to believe, but it's possible. But I just know most of the people that I've personally spoken with has had something.
I can attest to that because
Yeah.
the people I've met that were part of that community had a very bad experience, whether they were younger or even just like because I had a lot of female friends in high school. Then the ones that did like become lesbian were the ones that had very terrible experience
Mm-hmm.
by men,
Yeah.
whether they got raped or like
You
well
gotta
actually
say graped.
oh
Right.
grape, sorry, yeah,
That's fine.
whether they got essayed and all that, like
Yeah.
usually there's always a cause to want to reject normalcy.
Yeah.
So
It's
Yeah.
something.
For somebody to say I was born this way, like that's an interesting statement right
And
there.
I'm
You
going in
know,
my head and I'm thinking about everybody that I know. You
I
know what I'm
think it's
saying?
possible now that I'm thinking about it.
What?
I read somewhere that I think explained it really well. It's like we all born in sin and shaped in
mhm.
iniquity. So there is definitely probably a group of people
This probably
that are
is.
born with that is
Yeah,
This
their
yeah.
defined what they gonna struggle with. You know,
I agree with
like
that because
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Like we all got something that we just was like when we popped out the womb, we was gonna do that. We was a liar. We was,
We're
you
gonna do
know,
it. True. It could be some people who
Now,
had.
my thought on that, like I've thought about that perspective quite a bit. The only thing that kind of caught me off guard was the guy that said, that we just had the episode, and he said nothing happened to me. I was just, it's just how I was born. That's the only time I was like, I've never heard that before from somebody. It's not like I talked to like so many gay people, but it was just still like, I mean, I kind of look this stuff up sometimes for certain topics and stuff. So, but I don't necessarily think that someone can be born homosexual. I think every child is born in sin for sure. But you got to think about it. Does a baby come out wanting to, like, natural affection
Mm-hmm.
should be something that God planted you, like, formed you with. So for a child to come out having an affection against his own nature doesn't seem possible, because now we're dealing with like now it is a nature for us to sin, but a nature for us to be, that's not in our nature to be, and a baby doesn't come out saying, having thoughts of sex at all. You know, so that I don't understand how someone could be born like that as like an identity.
I think most of, well, I won't say most people, but like you're born just not knowing what you are. And so it's not until like you go into society that you start understanding like the cultural. Yeah, so her point is just generational,
A generational curse. You
but
got
like you're
transgender visibility awareness highlighter colors in your Bible. You should
Yeah, I
show the
got my
people.
Bible. I got my Bible tatted up, y'all.
Transgender visibility, y'all.
Tatted up, y'all.
That's so crazy. It's
But I
so
was just
funny because
thinking
it's boy and girl gendered. The flag, the colors. So it's like, do y'all believe in that? Or like this, it's interesting that they chose those colors when it's like kind of contradicting
Yeah,
y'all
because
whole
like
belief system. But
because it's like when it's the whole transitioning thing, you only have two options
I
to
was gonna say,
transition
I think
to.
they did it because it's only two
Yeah,
options,
yeah,
maybe.
which further proves the point that you do believe there's
you do
only
believe there's
two
two
genders.
options.
Yeah,
But what were you
But I
saying?
think they. Oh, so my point was that
Yeah, yeah,
when you're a kid, like or when you're first born, you don't know anything. You just like in that space,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so you don't know that you're a girl or a boy.
Mm.
And so it's like as soon as you come to consciousness, you start to look around and understand what's around you. You understand your mom and your dad, but you don't know what you are in relation to what they are. Cause I remember one time, I don't know if I ever told this before, but like when I was little, like I had a little brother my mom would carry around, and so I had this little doll. I don't know if it was like I don't know what it was, but I was like, I'm a mommy now, type thing.
Confusion. No, I'm just
It-
playing.
But it's just
Yeah.
like what you see, and so like in my situation, my dad was like, you no more dolls for you. You're not a mommy. You if you were anything, you'd be a dad, right? And so
Yeah,
he
yeah.
clarified it on the spot. So my thought process would be like if I had that thought and then like my parents were like, we're gonna let him figure it out. I would have been confused all the way up until I got older because no one ever
Yeah.
was like, you are this. Because
Yeah.
I just did like I was so young, I didn't know like the reproductive piece of it.
But if I could add a rebuttal, and I'll let you get to your verse. If I could add a rebuttal, I think that if you actually possibly could have had that in you, which I'm not saying you did, but if you did have that in you, I don't think your dad correcting you would have changed it. Because
Mm.
if it's I do think
So
that it comes from some type of confusion. You know, I think it comes from a confusion that is put on
They saying some good stuff.
the
up there.
person. Which one?
They said a child has no
You
knowledge
can
of
read
certain.
the name and then just because they probably want to.
Tashawn Tucker. Hey, bro. He says a child has no knowledge of certain things. Honestly, to be taught or molded is the child's only responsibility for the fortunate ones. I need some stronger medicine. Clearly.
And then Dolly said these parents nowadays groom their kids, let alone the school too. Alexis said, yes, I've seen some grow up having two fathers, and they assume
They
they
have
have
to
to
be
be gay
gay
as
as
well.
well.
Really?
I
Mm.
think
But no, I'm just saying, like, I've never seen, like, someone that had two fathers?
I know somebody that got two fathers.
Oh, I don't know anyone like that. And I'm just
Mm.
thinking, cause you
It's
know,
definitely rare.
like that's my cousin. So it's like I figure I would have known. Maybe I'm not
She
thinking.
said she's seen someone grow up having.
Okay, yeah.
So I don't
Yeah, you
know if
probably
they.
did.
You thought it was in
if
your
they-
family?
because
It
Yeah,
might
I was
not
like,
be your
oh,
family.
again, Geraldine got a no, I was playing.
again, that's why, like going back to what I mentioned earlier, that Gaby boom, and I hope that's not derogatory. I read it in a book that was
Be ashamed of
by
yourself. You
intelligent
cancel
people,
now.
so
No, I was playing.
I apologize in advance. But it's basically there's a larger portion of the population that grew up in families like that, and to the like for me, if that had been my thought process, and then I was in a household where there was a dad that was a mom, I've been that since birth.
And that's what I think it. I don't know. That just caught me off guard when the dude was like, "Nah, nothing happened." I was like, I mean, take your word for it, but that is it's just hard to believe that that's the case. But I'm not here to like tell people what their experience was.
Yeah, me either.
I can't do that. But it's just everything that I have heard from so many people. I was like, maybe I just need to have more conversations with people because that's something I
Yeah.
really want to understand. Because on a biblical aspect, I have to know my material so I can minister correctly. Obviously, I don't feel like I have to get all analytical and observe and get a psychological understanding of the homosexuality. But what Alexa say?
Oh,
Yes, and they have the example in
in
movies
movies
and
and
commercials a lot.
you
Yeah,
know
it
what?
is.
Sure.
That's true. I'm over here watching. Right now I just started watching Station 19.
It's a good show.
It's a great show,
Yeah.
but it's a lot of
It's a lot of
yeah,
there's a lot of that in these shows. Now I'm like,
yeah,
bro, can you just sprinkle it, dog, please?
yeah.
Like I just need to
But I like the show, so I'm gonna keep watching it.
I know
You know
Christian's
what I'm
like,
saying? It
any level,
coincides
level to
with Grey's
hold up.
Anatomy. It coincides with Grey's Anatomy, so I mean, I'm just gonna keep watching it. Oh, well.
Mm-mm.
I just got to.
No, we gotta rebuke you for what do we have to rebuke you for?
The gluttony.
The gluttony. We gotta rebuke you for watching that show. No, I'm playing.
Oh, Lord, then you're gonna have to come for me because I've been watching Modern Family.
Modern Family.
I mean, what
I
we gonna
was
do? Just
watching
stop
that at
watching
one
TV?
point.
We just gonna
I
be
was
Amish
watching
and
that at
just
one
stop
point.
watching
We
TV.
do.
We just gonna have to stop watching TV.
It's homosexuality all in our entertainment now, and now it's homosexuality in the church. But I'm gonna let you get to yo
This is why
commercial break,
some
y'all.
Christians are like,
Commercial break.
trying to make Christian content, eventually. Right,
Yes,
Ashley?
sir.
We finna do that one day?
Yes, sir, man.
Yeah, we finna do that
We're
for
gonna
real.
have his skits, LGBT flags on set. I just playing.
Oh, boy. The chosen guy called out. Well, I kind of forgot what the other points you guys were touching about.
Somebody being born in sin.
Well, no,
Can
no,
you be
I
born
know that.
gay?
It was
I
like
think that
after
was-
that. I wanted to answer your question because you're like, how does someone like not go through something and still do it? So
Yeah.
Romans actually answers this. And I will preface this because I don't know what you guys, but I don't know what you either.
I'm
But
straight.
this is an NIV
Oh,
translation.
okay.
I
So,
don't think y'all ain't too big on like, oh, you gotta use King James.
No, you
is it-
no.
oh, okay.
KJ, no,
I got scarred.
No, if it ain't KJV,
No, I
if
got
it ain't
Put that
KJV, I
Bible
want.
up.
Nah,
KJV. Look,
Yeah,
KJV,
Let's
I
get
read
him a better Bible. He needs help.
I got scarred from.
Go ahead.
Go
Let's
ahead,
start
nah,
from
for
Mike.
real.
So yeah, this is Romans 1:21.
What version is it though? Just so we can
NIV.
NIV. Okay,
Yeah.
I forgot.
So it says, for although they knew God, they neither glorified him as God nor gave thanks to him. But their thinking became futile, and their foolish hearts were darkened. Although they claimed to be wise, they became fools. And then if I skip down, and it says, because of this, God gave them over to shameful lusts. Even their women exchanged natural sexual relations for unnatural ones. In the same way, the men also abandoned natural relations with women and were inflamed with lust for one another. Men committed shameful acts with other men and received in themselves the due penalty for their errors. So, like, it says here, yeah, so God gave them over to a deprived mind because though, they didn't think worthwhile to retain the knowledge of God. So like, we think of sin as these big, like, oh, like the big ones, like the murder and the idolatry and the adultery, but we forget to realize even the smallest sins like also deprave us, and then
Like watching
because
Modern Family and
oh boy, but like these things deprave us because like I didn't have a terrible childhood, but I still fell into porn for like 12 years. You know,
Yeah, you know the terminology.
yeah, corn. It's funny because I have a channel. Anyways,
Grape and corn.
yeah.
Talking about the fruits of the spirit on the
Oh boy,
No, let me not say that.
Right.
Sorry,
But,
y'all, I gotta turn this
yeah,
out of my
like-
brain off for a second.
the reason why I fell into corn was because I stumbled across like an ad and I just got curious. You know?
You just had me had a whole flashback of your interview. It's like, golly, boy, I done edited that video. I know his whole story word by word. I can repeat it for you.
Oh boy. You know what's funny? I have yet to see that video.
God.
And I was talking to Jesse about it, and he was just like, "Bro, how you not see your own video?"
You Johnny Depp right now, bro.
But yeah, so basically, sins is what leads people to have a deprived mind. When I was in the world, I didn't see anything wrong with sex before marriage. I'm like, you're gonna send me to hell because I'm having sex. Like that doesn't make any
It's in my
sense.
nature, man.
Right. So like, but we don't realize this. We're actually being depraved. And that
Yeah.
he gives that over because it's like, it's almost like that's what you're choosing. God is going to let you choose what you want, and you're going to suffer the consequences. Because if you don't choose him, you're choosing death, regardless of whether it feels good at the moment. So,
But what that also brought to my attention is that I don't think that God will turn you over. Was it just say, "Hey, keep my name out your mouth"? Wait, did we say Jesse's name?
my bad, bro.
Oh yeah, you said that. Yeah,
Yeah.
keep his name out your mouth now. But so what I just saw from that verse, I don't know if y'all caught it, but in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, so that definitely has to mean that this is something that God, like a confusion that God will allow you to partake in if you do not have a love for the truth. So it could not be that God would turn you over to that when you were born. I feel like that would be so unjust of God to allow that to happen when you're born. Like I mean, I don't know. Maybe I need to think more about it, but that's why we're here to
Well, you
like
gotta
talk
realize people
about it.
don't really have a full understanding of who they are until they reach adulthood, anyways.
But
Or
is
at a
that
certain
who they
age.
are though? Because you're talking
Well,
about
they will say
engaging.
that. Like I can say like, oh, I was born to be a dancer, but it's just I just so happened to dance for so long that I took that identity. You know, but not
Yeah,
to say
I
that I
just
was
don't
born
think
out. I
that.
didn't come out of the womb like.
Like I don't think there's a cussing spirit. I don't think there's a um like necessarily an adultery spirit. I think it's just you are sinning. Like you're choosing like your nature, you
Mhm.
have a nature and you have to use that the right way.
Right.
God made you this way for a reason, but
Mhm.
children, we naturally have pride. We naturally have I want this, I want
Yeah.
that. But to naturally from birth have this thing inside of you, this spirit of homosexuality, like how could God allow that to get on you? Like, and maybe it's a generational curse,
Yeah, I
like
was
she
about to
said,
If
say.
it's, it could be just
but we'll
generational.
have to study generational curses. But
Yeah.
without that, I don't think it. I mean, maybe that's the only way, because
Yeah.
that I know you can get certain things because of certain parents and certain things but for something to skip, like if my I'm just gonna say if somebody's family members were dealing with homosexuality and then their kids were straight and they cut off the curse, they ended it, is it gonna skip and say, oh well, your granddad was dealing with this, so that's why you're probably dealing with it? It's like I don't understand how it could skip generations like that. Unless but then it's like, did it skip a generation, or is a generation of curse more natural than we want to explain it to be? Is it a natural, like, all right, the reason it's a curse is because you're naturally now unintentionally grooming your child to be gay? It's a lot to think about, yo.
Mhm.
Yeah, I was
I
gonna
try
say
to
that.
go in.
That's a puzzler, boy.
Yeah.
That might need to be
Because
for a whole
yeah, I was gonna
episode. You
say
know what I'm
because
saying?
to your point, it's like maybe you weren't born that way, but like I guess both of you guys were making it. It was like it's all you've known, and so the way you articulate it is that you were born
Mhm.
that way.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So
Maybe
it
you
makes sense.
grew up that way.
Yeah,
Maybe that's
Yeah,
the more
and
that's the
accurate
then
way
more
to say it.
accurate.
you weren't exposed to Christian Bible-based teaching,
Hmm.
or you were, and you made the decision
To rebel.
that that wasn't going to be your you weren't going to accept it in your heart and
Hmm.
therefore move towards God and then allow him to.
Do the work.
Yeah.
Because if I had two dads, I mean, it's a higher chance that I'm gonna be gay. Like,
Yeah.
right? Am I
Yeah.
tripping? Like,
No, no, no.
I
That's true.
don't think people try to make it sound so genetic that it's like, oh, this gene, and it's like if we agree with the mentality that people can actually be born with homosexual tendencies with no influence at all, I feel like we are allowing people to say that there could possibly be a gay gene. Because a lot of spiritual things in the Bible have natural explanations. Now, when we get with supernatural, obviously like how God brought us all here, like, yeah, supernatural. But there are a lot of things that in the Bible spiritually that have a natural like flow and explanation to them And
Mhm.
atheists will use this as a way to discount God. But it's like, no, 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 no. Nature itself teaches you certain things. Nature shows you, like, a man's nature is this. Like, that doesn't just mean this is supposed to be this way. This is your nature. So when someone tells me I was born, this is who I am, it's like, wait a minute. God made you the opposite of your biological makeup? That's what you're telling me? That's
I guess
very hard to believe.
your biological and your genetic makeup, because your genes affect how you the sex you have.
Yeah. Now
So
him allowing
genetically,
it is different, but
I
like
was gonna
him
say, so
making you this way.
genetically, you were born with X and Y, or X and X.
Well, that's
Thank you.
interesting, cause
So
yeah. Or which one is which? X
XY
is.
is boy,
That's why.
XX is girl.
All right, I gotta visualize in my head in a certain way, cause I don't want to sound dumb when I be talking on this. Oh, this is live. I just like I just funny.
Yeah.
Um,
I just know.
my exes were women.
Yeah.
Okay, if that's how you want to do
If
it,
that's how you gonna do
or
it.
you gonna
Ashley would.
You gonna be
Actually,
dirty like that, then go ahead. Why am I a man? There we go.
well, you can
Because I'm
also think of it
curious.
from
I'm just like, I'm
perspective,
messing with y'all.
or I was gonna say, the
Just
way
being
I think
dumb.
of it is that the man decides the gender of a baby, and to do that, we have both X and Y, and so we either give a X or we give a Y.
Why?
That's
Yep.
what I think about
Interesting. I'm not giving none of myself away.
it.
No child.
Yes, you will. Look, yes, you will.
So,